Welcome to the Utah PTA Pulse Podcast. I'm Mike Williams, Director of Communication. To my right, your left is...
I'm Angeli Ado, the Family Life Commissioner.
And I'm Cammie Whitchurch, the Community Engagement Commissioner.
And we have a special guest on the line. On the phone, we have Julie Gell, the Director of Education at the Utah Film Center. And today we'll be talking about the Tumbleweeds Film Festival. But first, Angeli has a question for us.
Okay, so Julie's time is a little limited with us today, so I thought of a short question. So think about Christmas real quick, like the one we just had. What was your favorite gift? Maybe it wasn't to you. Maybe it was to a kid or a friend or a spouse. What was your favorite gift?
Oh, over the holiday season, you mean?
Yeah. And anybody can answer. When you're ready, anyone can answer.
Oh, boy. Well, hi, everyone. I'm Julie Gale. I'm the Director of Education at Utah Film Center. Thanks so much for having us on the podcast. We are big supporters and fans of the UTA and the work you do in our families and schools and our communities. So thank you for that. I'd have to say the best gift not given to me was to my nephew. He is 16 years old, and he had no idea he was getting this gift, but I helped his aunt scheme it, and it was tickets to see Weird Al Yankovic in concert. He's a huge Weird Al fan, and I follow Weird Al on Instagram, and so I messaged his mother, my sister-in-law, and said, "Did you know that he's going on a big national tour?" And she's like, "I did not. Thank you for letting me know." And so I let her know when tickets were going on sale, and then we had all this it was an exciting way to to share it. And I mean, just the look on his face, he just kept saying, "No way, I can't believe it, no way." Just to see that joy was the best gift I've ever seen in a long time. To see him just have his dreams realized in a gift was so exciting.
That's hilarious and awesome.
Yeah, that's really cool. That's awesome. All right.
Anybody else got one?
He's 6 years old. He turned 6 a couple days before Christmas, and we got him a skateboard, which is terrifying. But that's what he wants, a skateboard. So helmet, elbow pads, wrist pads, knee pads.
Yep.
But just to see, he wasn't super, he was just, I think he was stunned. Mom and Dad actually.
What am I going to do with this?
They let me have a skateboard.
I know.
That's awesome.
So it was good.
Yeah.
Okay, well, mine was what my son actually spent with his Christmas money. He bought himself a new scooter. He's really into scootering. We bought him this last year or a year and a half ago, we bought him a semi-nice beginner scooter, but now he's at the intermediate level. So he's been watching this scooter brand for a while, and they only make teenage scooters and above, so he found the next best thing. And he was so happy and loved it. It was so great. Anyways.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, the one that comes to mind is for my two daughters, we made them. I don't know if you guys are familiar with anxiety bookshelves, but they're these miniature bookshelves with little fake books, but real books, you put real book covers on, the books look like real books but in miniature, 1/12 size. And they were so excited about, they'd been watching them, and my husband has a 3D printer, so we actually 3D printed them for them, and so they can add to it. They can have 250 books or whatever on these bookshelves, and they were super excited. And they're avid readers. You can't do a digital book, you have to actually physically hold the book and smell the pages kind of people.
I was like that till I had kids.
But they were really excited about it, and it was just really fun for them to be like, "Oh, I can't wait." As soon as we just gave them some with a bunch of blank books so that they could figure out what books they wanted to put on their bookshelves, and they were really excited to start filling them with books that they love and that are dear to their heart.
Oh, I love that so much. All right, Julie, tell us about the Tumbleweeds Film Festival. What is it all about? What is it? All the things.
Oh, absolutely. So the Tumbleweeds Film Festival has been a Salt Lake Valley festival for about 14 years, and we are starting our 14th year this year. We are now officially teenagers. We're going into middle school or high school, I guess, if we were a kid. But the Tumbleweeds Film Festival has always been a celebration of movies and movie making and just passion for storytelling that families can attend. And one thing that we're really excited about how it's evolved over the years. So if you've come maybe in the past and you remember maybe how it was structured, the way that we do it now is that we have really active partnerships with the Salt Lake County Library System, Utah Education Network, and some other organizations that allow us to put on this festival so it's almost at low to no cost to families. Because one of the biggest goals we have is we want it to be this fun event that families can go to where cost, transportation is not a barrier to having a good time. And we also try to make it a festival where you can bring everybody in the family, whether it's if you have toddler all the way up to 12, 13, 14-year-olds, that they would all enjoy the festival. And so what it is that we have it's structured in two different ways. So those of you who are listening who might be advocates in your classroom and you're out there working very actively in your schools, we do it in two ways. We have 3 days of field trips. Those happen the week of the festival. And those are where schools can come and we watch films and we do educational activities with them. We also pay for the buses. So if you're interested in that, you should be going to our website, which is tumbleweedkids.org for the teachers. So those of you PTA people listening, that's something that you'll want to keep in mind. And those workshops are entirely free, which means we're also paying for the transportation because we've gotten a tremendously generous donation from the Larry H. Miller Foundation, in addition to the Eccles Foundation, to increase our ability to make this low and no cost for schools. And also we're funded as an education department. We're funded through the State Board of Education's legislative funds. So everything we do that's in the classroom is free. So just keep that in mind. The other part that families might be interested in is our kids film competition that's also tied to our public festival that happens on one day. So I'll tell you about the kids film competition first. If you have kids that are K through 8, maybe they're always making cute little videos or little stories, or they're always filming something, I would highly encourage them to sign up for their films for our film competition. Those of you who did reflections this past fall, please send your films over to us. We have a lot of reflections kids come over and submit their films. And what's unique about this film festival is it's only for little kids, because we have a lot of film competition saturation like at the middle and the high school level, but this is for kids making films. And so we have categories like K through third grade, kindergarten and first grade, second through fourth grade, and then like fourth grade and up in middle school. So sixth grade and up from middle school. And so we have all these we have audience favorite awards. They're judged by people who are like filmmakers in the film industry here in Utah. So you get a professional telling you what they like about your film and giving you feedback. And then we do a really fun, splashy red carpet film competition where you get to come with your family, you get to be photographed and interviewed like, you're a celebrity or something. And then you get to have a great film competition where you get to have your films shown. And then what's really cool is that your films then get to be shown all over the state when teachers actually request our field trips that they can watch virtually. And in addition to that, you get to be on TV later on because UEN partners with us, and you get to have your films on TV later on, so you can brag to your family across the country that you had a film in the film competition. And if you're a finalist, you get to come to the film competition, the public festival, at no cost. So you get to do as many workshops as you want. You get to go attend as many films as you want, as a way to grow your filmmaking abilities. And so it's a really great not only way for filmmakers who are young to be able to share their work, but it also gives them the ability to get get better at their filmmaking skills with workshops and things that we provide. So definitely, if you're in the newsletter, I know, Cammie, you'd mentioned you're sending out a newsletter. It has some information that's going to be distributed about that. But you can also go to our website, tumbleweedskids.org, and learn more about the film competition. And then the fun thing for families as well is that we have a whole day that we run the festival. This year, it's going to be Saturday, April 26th. It's going to be at the Viridian Event Center in West Jordan. And what's really great about that is that it's accessible through the tracks. So if you want to, but the parking's free and there's tons of it at events. So it's not like you have to go pay for parking. But if you take the tracks, maybe because you're coming from a different part of the valley, tracks is free fare if you come to the festival. So that makes it really affordable. And the whole day, like what you can expect when you walk into the festival is that you're going to see all these activity booths where you can come and play and explore and learn some cool things about different parts of movie making and creativity. And then we have a whole collection of films that we show throughout the day. They start at 9 a.m. I think the last one's going to be like 6:30 in the evening. And we have films that are for all age groups. So we have a film that's great for toddlers and little kids early in the morning at 9 a.m. And then we have films for a little bit older kids later on in the day. And then throughout the day, we have workshops that you can attend. That's the only part of the film the film festival that costs something, but it's very low cost. It's only $25, and you get hands-on instruction with a very small group of kids that also are interested in what you're doing. So you can learn things about stop motion animation or how to make special effects in your movies, or maybe you want to start a podcast yourself as a kid, that you could take a class to learn how to be a podcaster and tell really good stories.
We might need to go to that class.
What you can,
I know. Do they offer that for us?
Y'all can sign up too. And come, you can come. What do they call that? Auditing a class. You can audit the class. But your kids can come and get some pointers. But it's super fun. And throughout the day, because all these activities are going on throughout the day, you might have your older kid in a workshop and you're going to see a movie with the little kids, and then maybe you'll do some activities and go have lunch and come back and watch a movie later on. It's a great kind of festival for the whole day. It's a great festival to come and go for maybe a couple of activities depending on the age of your kids, and it's great because it's great for the whole family. It's not, oh, this is only for really small kids, or this is only for kids that are already in elementary school. It really, you can bring anyone ages 2 to 14. That's the age range that we program all of the activities and movies and workshops for. And so the cool thing though about this partnership with the PTA, we're part of Come Play with the PTA. If you're a PTA family member, you can actually do the workshops even cheaper than you would normally do. And right now we're doing a special, discount that if you buy a workshop right now, if you go to our website and you buy a workshop right now, not only are we selling them at a discount, but we have a special place for the Utah PTA where you can get an additional $5 discount, and that can be off of a workshop. Or you can purchase a in advance voucher that lets you get some concessions at a super, super low cost. And we're cheaper than the Megaplex, I can tell you that. Like, we sell everything at $2 each. So $2 for popcorn, $2 for soda and water, $2 for candy. So it's also really, really affordable, but we're making it even more affordable for families, especially PTA families right now. So if you go to our website, you can use those Come Play with the PTA benefits and be able to feed your whole family, have a great day with, snacks and treats, and not have to sneak them in your purse like you normally do when you go to the movies, and am I sharing pro tips? Yes, sneak them in your purse. But you don't have to do those things because it's so affordable that everyone can have a little special treat and enjoy a movie, and that's kind of the big driving focus of this, is we want this to be as family friendly as possible. So that's it, and that's pretty much what the Tumbleweeds Film Festival is all about, and what we do at the Utah Film Center every year. I'm the festival director, so I work with my team to make sure everything's age appropriate, everything is good for families, it's good for kids, and that everyone can have a really great time and walk away feeling like they had an excellent time and didn't have to break the bank to be able to have an experience or an afternoon with their kids or a whole day with their kids.
Yeah.
That sounds really fun.
It does.
We got to put it on the calendar.
For sure. Do these workshops, is this one of those things where they want to kind of get in on those early? Do they sell out really fast?
That's a really good question, and I would recommend, I can tell you right now, Insider Scoop, we're going to be announcing what all of our workshops are around January 22nd. We're going to publish what the workshops are. Normally, I would recommend, if you know your kid is really interested in one of these topics, I would highly recommend ordering or reserving your spot sooner rather than later. And the only reason for that is because we like to keep the classes small so the students can get really good hands-on instruction if they're, designing a stop motion animation film, or if they're, going to a class where they're being taught how to use their camera to make their movie look like a movie that you see, in the movie theaters. You want to be able to make sure that you have a spot, but we also like to keep the classes small. We kind of cap them at about 15 because we just want the kids to be able to get as much hands-on activity as possible when they're in those workshops. And keep in mind, they're 90 minutes. Most of them are appropriate for ages 8 and up. So, and a parent can attend along with it if they want to kind of sit in the back and just kind of keep an eye on things, or just maybe take some notes as they're watching it as well. You can totally do that if you're bringing someone that's maybe more on that younger side of 8. So, it's very much encouraged. Or if you're like, hey, I'm going to drop you off, and we're going to go watch a movie with the rest of the kids, you can totally do that too, because everyone that teaches for us is certified to be in the classroom. They've all been background checked. They're all our people. So, and we also have a lot of helpers that support the workshop. So your kids are going to be in a great educational and safe environment while they're in those workshops as well.
That's awesome. That's so cool. Yeah, Mike was over here going, yes. So he's probably going to sign his kids up for everything and then go with them so he can get all the tips and pointers.
I'm a videographer, so nothing wrong with getting more knowledge about anybody who has any tips. So I'm fine with that.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that would be way fun. And yeah, it's a great time. And sometimes, the parents have as much fun as the kids when they're helping and helping their children. If you're planning to, one of our ones that we're really excited about is we're doing a special effects makeup with things that you can find around your house. So we're showing people how to turn themselves into zombies literally with toilet paper. So we're talking about like toilet paper and a little bit of Elmer's glue. We're going to show them how, very simple tools can be used to create like movie magic if you're making a story. So, and we're excited because a special effects makeup artist who worked in the film industry is going to be teaching that. And so they're going to share all of their cool tips and tricks and ideas that they've done on movies and on films in the past to show kids that, you don't have to go and buy this fancy kit or go buy this, or, that's how all of our workshops are. It's like, you don't have to go buy this fancy camera or do anything. Bring your laptop, grab your phone, grab your tablet. We're going to show you how to do some really cool stuff with the things that you have, because that's how the kids are going to end up doing it when they go home with their families and want to create stories of their own.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And how long are these films usually? Like, what's the length?
Yeah. The films, we try to program things that are a normal range or an hour or under, because we also know attention spans for different age groups are very different. So I guess I can share some of these films. They're not, I guess the PTA, y'all are getting like all the like details before the public is. That's exciting. So for example, we're having a movie that I'm really excited about. It's called Puff and Rock and New Friends. And it's based on the Puff and Rock books. If you're familiar with those, they're really popular, like preschool toddler books, and it's a whole animated movie. And that one is about just short of an hour. And then most of the other films are maximum an hour 20 to an hour and 30 minutes. And so we try to keep them at that normal range, because, we're not going to show Dune Part 2, I promise. Because it's a long movie and attention spans are waning for young people. And so we want it to be a film that is in that normal range. So I'd say on average, most of our films are 90 minutes, but there's a couple that are shorter than that. And especially the ones earlier in the day, like the one I was talking about that's going to be Puff and Rock. And then we're doing a shorts collection. So it's a whole collection of like short films that are like 5 minutes and under. And then it like all those films together is about 60 minutes total. That is, we always run those earlier in the day for the younger kids. So then maybe if you want to bring someone really small and kind of share that movie magic with an early, like maybe it's their first movie they ever go see, then you can go show them a movie at 9 o'clock and then be home for nap time, and it's, so we always have those early in the day. And then I think the longest film we have is an hour and 35 minutes, and it's playing towards the latter part of the day for our older kids, and it's more appropriate for older kids too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Can you talk a little bit more about the field trips and kind of what that looks like? You know, because a lot of times you're going to have more than 15 kids in those classes that are coming over. So what do those look like?
Oh, I'd be happy to share that. So our field trips is one of our favorite things we do tied to tumbleweeds. And every year we have been able to provide these workshops to over about 1,500 students throughout the area. And now we're able to even double that capacity because we can do it in person, but we can also do it virtually, like where the field trip comes to you in your classroom. So I'll tell you a little bit about both of them. So we are going to have field trips that are running Wednesday, the 23rd through Friday, the 25th at the Viridian Event Center. We have AM and PM screenings each day. And how that works out is you would work with our education team. You would reserve a spot. You would let us know how many grade levels you're bringing, how many kids you're bringing, and chaperones you're bringing total, and they're all welcome to come. And then you tell us the day that you'd like to come, and we work with you to make those reservations. The capacity for the field trips is at about 450 per screening. So normally we quite often have schools that come, like the whole grade level comes, or if it's a really small school, the whole school comes. And what we do with that is then what happens is prior to the field trip, we send you an education guide that we develop so you can have activities, conversations, lessons that you can do prior to the film, but there's activities, lessons, and discussions you can do after the film too. So you can structure it in the classroom to kind of be this total educational experience. And so you'll get that as a teacher before you come to the field trip. And then you'll arrive at the field trip with your kids and you'll sit down, you'll watch a movie. This year, all of our public field trips is our shorts collection, which is our most popular film collection that we show. And it's a bunch of short animated and live action films and a variety of topics. We try to show a lot of different animation styles, a lot of different storytelling styles with live action. One of the most interesting workshops we have is an animated film. It's 3 minutes long. It's made entirely out of embroidery. Oh, so wow. Imagine that they embroidered every tiny little picture that went into you. There's 24 frames to make 1 second of a film, 24 different embroidery stitches to make this like little bunny leap and jump and run around everywhere and swing on the swing. I've never seen anything like it. And we keep telling the filmmaker we've been talking to, we're like, this is going to blow kids' minds that anything can be animated if you try hard enough. And so we have this collection and they get to see all these really cool films. And then after that, after the films, which is like, it's about 55 minutes long collection of films, then we do an educational Q&A where they get to talk to filmmakers. They get to talk to people who made the movies. They get to talk to people who are animators who work here in the Utah area, and they get to learn more about what it's like to actually create these works of art that are these short films. And the kids get to ask questions, and the most interesting and thoughtful questions come from these students. You can tell they probably thought about it a little bit coming up ahead of time. And then what we do is, because it's at the Viridian Event Center, if you've ever been there in West Jordan, there's this giant memorial park that's right next to it. And quite often schools will just go across the street and they'll have a sack lunch and they'll play on the playground, and then they'll go back to school. And we book out the pavilions at no cost to the schools and make sure that you have those all ready to go. And then I know I've said this before, but we pay for the buses. That's the biggest barrier. And I know it's one of the biggest PTA fundraising elements to be able to have field trips for schools. So keep in mind that if you're a PTA group, or you're a school and you're looking at, we want to go on a field trip, but we always are limited by, where we can go because of funds or fundraising efforts. And so there's really no barrier to this because we're paying for that bus. And we have, and you can go, oh, you're paying for a little of it? Nope, 100%. And I'll give you an example. We have, we do a lot of workshops with SPED programs. And they quite often need buses that have a lot more accommodations and needs, and they usually are more expensive to book for a field trip. We've paid for all of those in the past too, and we plan to in the future. So those are that's one thing that we really pride ourselves in, is that we can provide this educational, awesome opportunity, super fun field trip. Your kids will be talking about it for weeks after that. And it doesn't cost the PTA fundraising or the school any money. So that's what the field trips are all about. And they're tons of fun. And then afterwards, we send you, activities and more things that you can do if kids really latch on to a certain topic. When they go back to school and they want to learn more about it, we send you more resources so you can say, hey, this one kid, like, you're obsessed now with stop motion animation. There's this really cool, like, free app you can put on your phone and go do that at home with your parents' permission. And those are things that we really like to encourage. We like to spark that wonder and curiosity about and demystify the fact that a lot of the creative arts that you see made in film, they're made with lots of big budgets and things like that. But if you're interested in that as a child, you can start doing that right now. And it doesn't require a lot of effort or money or that you would assume would happen in the film industry because of, the cost of making a film. And so we like to show, especially with the Q&A, we like to show, people who are like, hey, I grew up and I went to school at, this high school just down the road, and this is what I did when I was a kid. I doodled in my notebook for ages, and now I'm an animator and I work for Disney, and so we love to share those stories with kids at the field trips as well. And quite often we hear from teachers saying, this field trip is the one field trip the kids just can't stop talking about. They have so much fun. All they want to do is watch more movies and all of that. So that's what our field trips are. Or they watch movies and they go, ooh, did you notice that cool cinematography technique? It's like they're talking about it in a way that's different than just watching it and not really having any comments on it. And that's the one thing we like to infuse, is that great media literacy into the work that we do. And also, those of you who might be listening who are not in the Salt Lake Valley, we also offer these field trips virtually, where you can get the package of the film and the Q&A and all of those elements that the kids would have had if they saw it live, but you can screen it in your classroom, whether you're in Boulder, Utah, or you're up in Rich School District. You can still access these field trips at no cost, but you can also screen it at the convenience of the time that you have in your classroom. And it's a really great kind of field trip / fun thing to do, especially as we wind into May, which is kind of that wind down time of the academic year. And you maybe want to reward the kids in your class for really hard work and a job well done that year. You can do something besides, just throwing on a Pixar movie. You can throw on this film, and it's also going to be educational while they're watching something that's going to be really amazing and they're really going to enjoy.
Yeah, I love that. I think when I was a kid, I would have loved something like this. My parents would let us use their video camera, and we would make videos all the time. And so I just look at this and go, oh, yeah. If when I was a kid, I would have eaten this up. It would have been amazing. Mm-hmm. So yeah.
I agree. And there's a lot of kids that are really interested in that. Kids are holding literally a production studio in their hands every day if they have a smartphone. Yeah. So why not take that smartphone? Why not take that smartphone and go tell some good stories and some quality stories, but also know how to do it well and know how to do it with purpose, which is something that's like what media literacy is all about, is going, why am I making this story? What is its intended audience? What are the consequences of making this story and putting it out into the world, and those are things that they also can learn how to be better storytellers, but also more conscientious storytellers, but also conscientious consumers, because they'll start watching a TikTok and go, wait a minute, why am I watching this? What is its purpose? I think its purpose is just to make
usually nothing.
Get more likes and comments.
Yeah. And so it also makes them start looking at everything they're consuming that's media focused in a different way, because they kind of know a little bit about what goes into it, and they're like, oh, okay. It helps them understand the magic of it a little bit more.
I love that. So just on your website, I was noticing that right now, and that might change by the time this goes out, I don't know, that right now it's just that you can fill out a form to be notified when those field trips open. Is that correct? Do you have a date on when they'll start opening up so you can actually reserve them?
Yes, they are going to launch next week. Oh. And right now you can sign up the interest form for the field trips. And I would recommend doing that, anyone who's listening to this, because it will give you the ability to kind of be at what we call the front of the line. Like if you're signing up on that interest form to go, you know what, I really want to do this, we email you first. You get first pick of the field trips.
Let me sign up my school. I haven't talked to them, but
I I know. I'm just going to pass my tablet over to Angelique so she can start filling it out right now.
Good, go for it. And keep in mind, these fill up very quickly. So I definitely would encourage those PTA families that are, or the PTA teams that are, really working actively in the schools. You're searching and scouring opportunities for your schools to have field trips, and teachers that are listening. I would highly encourage you to check it out. Start planning what day that looks good, and definitely, if you don't know what day maybe yet you would go to of the 3 days we're doing the field trips, but this is something you want to bring the school to, fill out the interest form, because then after that you're going to get the information about all the days and time slots that it's available, and we get you back to school well before the bell rings, and and if you're doing the morning one, we get you there before lunch, and if you're doing the afternoon screening, you're going to be home well before the bell rings to go home for school. So I highly recommend signing up on that interest form, because that's going to give you the ability to be at the front of the line when we release it to the public, or actually we kind of release it to the people on the interest form first, and then we release it to the general school population. And the way that it's trending right now with the interest form, I'm wagering that we will be fully booked with the field trips probably by the end of February, early March.
Oh, wow. Okay, so get those interest forms filled out right away.
I'm like, okay, I'm doing it. I'm going to text my principal tonight that I signed him up.
Yeah, I think this is such a neat opportunity. We'll be
excited to have you.
And just to kind of remind people, to get to your website, it's the utahfilmcenter.org, correct?
Yeah, I actually would recommend, if you want to go faster to Tumbleweeds, you would go to tumbleweedskids.org, and it's all lowercase, all one word, tumbleweeds, plural, kids, plural.org.
Okay.
And that's where you'll find all the information. If you go today on January 9th, we are launching a lot of our content, like what movies are we showing and what workshops are we launching in the next couple of weeks. So you'll start to see a lot more of that content fill up. If you are interested in signing up for our newsletter, you'll get emails that will alert you about all these great opportunities. Or, if you love to find out what's going on in the community, to do things with your family on socials, I would highly recommend visiting our Tumbleweeds. Just look for Tumbleweeds Film Festival on Instagram, on X, on Facebook, and you'll be able to follow along as well if that's a way that you like to gather opportunities for maybe your family or your schools to interact with different activities and events in the community. It's a great way to get that kind of on-the-minute information about everything that's going on. And, we always have some last-minute surprises at the festival where maybe a super cool special guest might show up, and we find that out, very close to the festival. Last year we had JK Studios come, and that's the original cast of Studio C. So we know families and kids love them, and they're just putting out some really fun content right now with JK Studios. If you're watching the Freelancer series or anything that they're doing right now, it's just so funny. And they were here, and the entire cast, the entire team of JK Studios was there, and they were able to talk to the audience and engage with them, answer deep insider questions about original Studio C's skits, and it was a lot of fun. And then it was super cool because then they came and talked like one-on-one with the kids who were finalists in the film competition, and oh my gosh, they had so much fun.
I love that.
Learning from like these people they look up to, of like, this is how you can keep doing this craft and enjoy it, and make a living out of it, and in a way that was very inspirational, but also realistic as well.
Oh, that's fun. That's really neat. I love that. Yeah.
Well, I'm excited.
I know. Angeli's going to be there.
I'm like, it's on my calendar. I had to write all the things down.
She's signing your kids up for everything just so she can go to the field trip.
Again, we're so thankful to be part of PTA's Come Play with the PTA program. It just seems like a natural fit because we're in the schools with our media education programs. We support families with this film festival for over 14 years. So we really hope we see a lot of PTA families there. And we ask people, how'd you find out about us? And we hope to hear PTA.
I know, this year we're going to have tons of PTA people
festival.
There. That's our goal. Is to,
at least 20
to
extra.
Oh, that's so exciting.
Yep. Well, and it's fairly close to my house. I mean, I can walk over to the Viridian Center, so it's really close.
Oh, yeah, you are close, aren't you? I remember you telling me that before.
Yeah, I know. I think we were out of town last year, and so we couldn't go, and I was really bummed. But this year, we're not going anywhere. Well, we're going there.
I'm like, don't jinx it now.
And my kids are teenagers, but I think there are things over there that they might enjoy. Maybe some of the shows. So, yeah.
Well, do you have any more time? I know that you need to get out of here soon. If there's anything else you'd like to tell us.
No, I just definitely, those of you who are listening, please go to tumbleweedskids.org. Check out all of the opportunities we're going to have. And definitely, if you have any questions, you'll see our contact information on there if you want to get more info. The last thing I will say about Tumbleweeds is that we try to put as much of the ownership of information about the, of is this film appropriate for my kids? Is this workshop appropriate for my kids in the hands of parents? And so if you are trying to decide, is this film like going to be fun for my kids? We not only give you the trailer that you can watch, we've all watched and selected the films, and we're all parents who have selected the films, and we have kids who are school-age children. So we tell you not only the recommended age appropriateness for it, we tell you any content that you should be aware of. So for example, it might be like content warning, there's a mild moment of bullying, or content warning, there's a couple of scary moments that, or warning, there's, might be a couple of flashing lights that just or loud noises that might be surprising in the film. Like, we try to put as much of that information in there so you can make informed decisions about if the film's a good fit for your kid or for your family. But then we also tell you for fans of, and we tell you movies that are out in the world that are very similar to the movies that we're showing. So you can go, oh, well, we love that movie. We would probably love this movie. And for example, we have this film we're showing called Zip and Zap and the Marble Gang, and it's about these kids that are like they have to go to like naughty summer school, and they end up finding out the entire building they're in is like a giant treasure map, and it leads to this like this really exciting discoveries in the building, and it feels so much to me like the Goonies. So we're like, if you're a family that loves the Goonies, you're gonna love this movie. And so we always try to share that information, so then you can kind of go, oh yeah, we're big Goonies fans, or we're big Labyrinth fans, or oh my gosh, we love Bubble Guppies, or we're like the biggest Bluey fans on the planet, so we're gonna love the movie Puffin' Rock. And so we always try to do that so families can kind of figure out like, okay, this movie I don't really know a whole lot about, but at least I know it's similar to these things that my family and my kids really like, so let's go check it out.
That's awesome. Well, thanks for joining us, Julie. And once again, everyone, that's Julie Gale, Director of Education at the Utah Film Center. Yeah. And you have a wonderful day.
Yeah, thanks for joining us,
you all
Julie.
Too. Thanks for having us. And we hope to see a lot of your PTA families and schools at Tumbleweeds.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yep. Thanks, Julie. You have a good day.
Thank you. Take care.
Bye-bye.